Hello everyone, my name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we're going to be reviewing Chuck, or is it called The Bleeder? I'm not entirely sure, but whatever.
You don't know me.
You don't. Chuck Wepner.
Well, you do know me, but you don't know you know me.
It's the real Rocky.
I told you know me. A real Rocky.
Everything's gonna be different now, baby.
If you want to keep working, you're gonna have to stay famous.
Chuck, also known as The Bleeder, is a biopic depicting real-life boxer Chuck Wepner, whose underdog story helped inspire Sylvester Stallone's movie Rocky. I had no idea who Chuck Wepner was until I saw this movie.
You don't know me. Well, you do know me, but you don't know you know me.
Chuck Wepner was a professional American heavyweight boxer who first started fighting in the mid-1960s, leading up to his retirement in 1978. This film doesn't depict Wepner's entire life story. However, it does pick up what Wepner would probably consider as the best and worst times of his career. In 1975, Wepner, who was considered the New Jersey State Heavyweight Boxing Champion by his peers, went on to fight Muhammad Ali for the World Heavyweight title.
It really don't matter if I lose this fight. It really don't matter if this guy opens my head either. Because all I want to do is go the distance.
Lasting 19 seconds before the 15th round was over, his fight with Muhammad Ali was a monumental part of his career because that's when his newfound fame took him on a downward spiral. This isn't your typical boxing movie where the fighter has to go the distance to try and prove themselves. This is the kind of movie where it takes you to a place people usually go after they get a small amount of fame that goes to their heads. Being a small town icon is good. Because what do most of us want? We want to be loved. We want to be respected. We want to be taken seriously. We want people to understand us. For most of us, we just want to be at the center of attention when we walk into a room. This movie depicts all those things in a man who believes he wants one thing, when really, what he needs is right in front of his eyes. The story to this is fine. We get scenes to the story of a man who fought tooth and nail, being glorified by his peers, losing everything that he had fought for, and getting caught up in the limelight. I think the story during this particular moment in this guy's life was fine. But there's one thing that detracts my enjoyment from this movie. It's the narration. I hate narration when they're not used effectively. And this movie doesn't really utilize it in any creative way. I prefer the show me and don't tell me method. You don't have to explain everything that's going on to me. If this movie were smart enough, it would let the scenes play out on their own and have a literary illustration to them. Levi Schreiber. He was good in this movie. He made a complete transformation by changing the speech and tone of his voice. It also appears that he put a little weight on as well. This guy has come a long way from playing the great Cotton Weary in Scream. Ron Perlman. I didn't even know he was in this movie. And might I say, you almost don't recognize him while he's on screen because it seems like he went down the transformation route too. Naomi Watts. I didn't know she was in this thing either. She also goes down the transformation route, but I would say that her transformation is more transformative than her fellow colleagues because I had to take a double take every time she popped up on screen. Jeff Gaffigan. Everyone's transforming in this movie. I mean, it's like you can't recognize anyone until you stare at them for a while and wonder to yourself, is that really them? Oh, that's not really them. No, wait a minute. That is them. Michael Rappaport. The only guy who fails at the transformation. His character comes off as standoffish. Maybe his character was written that way, but to me it seemed like Michael Rappaport was trying too hard to act. His character literally seemed like he was acting. Elizabeth Moss, the star of the show. She's not just some side character who gets thrown around and treated like a piece of garbage in this film like what the founder did to Laura Dern. She's a strong female force that stands up to clarify, if you don't treat me right, I'm gone. Actually, her character didn't really contribute anything to this movie. She was just there, and her decisions didn't really alter the course of the story or anything. The fighting in this appears absolutely real. I've seen a few boxing movies like Rocky where the punches look fake, or the recent Creed movie where the camera stylized the fighting, but this feels authentic. Every punch seemed like the actor was actually being hit. This movie blends old TV footage with the story, and it's used effectively. My main problem, though, is the stinking narration. It goes on and on and on, and it doesn't stop. And then, by the end of it all, it just ruins my experience with the movie. Am I glad I know who Chuck Wepner is? I wish this movie would have cut out the stinking narration, added 15 more minutes to fully flesh out the story for visual character realization, and they should have given Elizabeth Moss something more to do. I wish this movie had showed me this guy's entire life story, and not just one specific moment in time. I feel like this movie was in a bit of a hurry trying to tell this guy's story because the hook is,
You don't know me. Well, you do know me, but you don't know you know me.
This movie should have been a slow burner, giving us inside depth as to who this guy was by way of visuals and not fucking narration. I give Chuck, also known as the Bleeder, a B. I enjoy this movie for the most part, but it's just the stinking narration that drives me crazy. Is Chuck, also known as the Bleeder, the best boxing movie ever made? No. Is it a good boxing movie? Sure, but that's not the point. This movie is about a man who's self-absorbed and lets his hometown fame go to his head. Now the question is this movie compelling in that way? No, because the fucking narration will just not fucking stop trying to spoon-feed you information. However, the performances from Levi Shriver, Naomi Watts, Jeff Gaffigan, and Elizabeth Moss certainly carry this movie and make it pretty enjoyable. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.